Hi, this is Eric Fox Jackson, and this is Shading and Gradients in Illustrator, the sequel, which, if you haven't seen the first one, I explain some very key core concepts, so you may want to go back. I'll figure out how to make some sort of YouTube button here that'll bring you back. But so what we're going to do is I'm going to start by deleting some of these objects so we can get started. What we want to do is, what I have here is a banana. Now, as I explained in the first one, if we use just the simple gradient tool, we don't get the real shape that we want to get for the banana, and something like this would actually be perfect for the gradient mesh tool. But since I already showed you that, I'll show you something new, which will be what's called envelope distort. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by making a regular plane box. So we go to the rectangle tool, and we're going to make a gradient that goes from this, let's do the more mustardy color here. Well, I guess the more French's mustard color. And we'll just set the gradient. We'll go to the gradient tool over here, or you can just press G as I did, and you can just set your gradient to go from top to bottom like that. And we're going to go to Object, Envelope Distort, or Envelope Distort, and we're going to go Make with Mesh. Now it gives you some mesh options to make more complicated meshes. As you see, I already have it set to 1 in 1, but you can change it to whatever you like. I like to keep things more simple. You can always add to it later on. I'll just keep it at 1 in 1. So what that's going to do now is that's going to give us anchor points over here. Now we can really bend that mesh. Now if your mesh isn't bending like that, which you can see when you go like this, if it's not bending like that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Envelope Distort and Options, and you'll see Distort Linear Gradients. So there we go. Now it's on Distort Linear Gradients. Now this linear gradient will react differently. When I go like that, it really gets fully distorted and it'll warp around. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to position it over our banana here, and we're going to move our points to some key areas. Let's set this to multiply so we can see through it. And as I explained in the last one, multiply will get rid of all the white, and it'll do this sort of overprint effect. But I realize that the yellow that we chose isn't good, so what you can do here is, right now you have the mesh selected, you can go to Edit Contents, and edit the contents. Now we're going to change this gradient to be this Dijon mustard color, because I like Dijon mustard on my sandwich. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set our mesh to wrap around here, and I'm not going to really finesse the whole thing and do a lot of the heavy work, because that would waste all your time. So I'm just going to kind of get the vague shape in there. As you'll see, it won't fully conform to the shape of the mesh at all times, because I like to assume it's saving me, but it probably isn't. What we're going to do is we're going to lock this object so we can edit something behind it. So we can go to Object, Lock, Selection, or Control 2 as I always do, seeing as I don't even know where that is. And you just copy the object and paste in front, which is Control or Command F, and you bring it all the way to the front there. Now you can unlock that object, unlock all, which is Control-Alt-2, and select these two objects. And now what you'll do is you'll go to Object, we'll go to Object and Clipping Mask, Make, or Control-7. And now you have something that really looks like it starts to wrap the shape of a banana. Of course, this isn't really how a banana is shaded, but I digress. It makes the point I wanted to make. There's one more option that you have, which is you can make a box. You can make it the standard gradient color, which is going to be black to white, which it has to be grayscale, otherwise we'll have some issues. We're going to set the gradient to go vertical, so we'll set it to go here, and we'll go to 90 degrees. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Object, Expand. And what this is going to do is this is going to make it all separate objects. So it'll no longer be a gradient, it'll be separate objects. I have it set to 255 because 255 is the maximum number of variable data you're allowed to have in any sort of it's very in depth, and I don't want to have to explain it in this little quick tutorial, but that's all you need to know. So I'm going to set it to 255, which will make it 255 separate objects in here, all separate colors dividing. I mean, you can see here that this color is 51.57. This is 51.18. So they go in very small increments, which will allow us to have a lot of control. Now, what we want to do is we want to go to Brush, and you'll see I already have these brushes made here. So let me delete these. Delete the brush, and we're going to make a new brush. So, new art brush. It says the selection artwork contains an element that cannot be used in an art brush. What we can do is, you'll see it's in a group. We can try to ungroup it. Oops. We can try to ungroup it, but for whatever reason, it won't ungroup. So, what we can do here is we can go to Edit Contents and click Edit Clipping Path again, and delete that clipping path, because clipping paths can't be involved in your object. So now we just have this group. Now we can make it a brush. New art brush, and we're gonna have the art brush go run the gradient run perpendicular to our direction, or have the solid colors run parallel to our direction. So this is good, and we're going to set the colorization method to tints. If you need any help understanding, there is this little poor diagram here, but tints is what we want to make our pure black into the color we select for our stroke, and to make our pure white nothing. So here we are. This is our brush, and we can simply just go like this. Let me zoom out here and go like this. Make that shape. And like I said, I'm going to just do simple shapes, so as not to waste too much time, as I already probably have. Now set the brush, and you'll see this brush isn't going the direction we want. Even if we make it the correct, oops, that's not what we want. Even if we make it the correct color, it's not exactly what we want. So what we want to do is we can go to the brush palette, and we can duplicate this brush. Now double click on it and change the direction from left to right to left. Say apply, as long as you've duplicated it and you're not affecting any other brushes that already exist. apply to stroke, and there you have it. Now you'll see it's white, so what do? We go to transparency, multiply. Now all that white has disappeared and our colors have become similar to a overprint. And there you have it. Now what we want to do is, instead of doing a clipping mask for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste in front. So Control C and Control F, or Command if you're on the Apple. And here we'll go to the gradient, which is the standard gradient here, the black to white. And we'll set it to go like this. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a transparency mask. So anything that's white will be like a window, you can see through it. And anything that's black will be masked off. So now that we have this set from white to black, we can select this lower object here and go to Transparency Palette and go to Make Opacity Mask. Now we have something that shapes lineates the shape of the object, but still fades off at the top, so it doesn't look too ridiculous where the light would be hitting here. So that was Shading and Gradients on Adobe Illustrator, and I'm Eric Fox Jackson. Thank you very much for your time.